Saving starts with internet and wireless from Xfinity. Because when you get Xfinity internet and add mobile, you can save up to $400 a year on wireless. Enjoy fast, reliable internet at home and nationwide 5G on the go, included at no extra cost. Get Xfinity internet and mobile together and ask how to get an eligible 5G phone on us. And for a limited time, $300 back. Don't miss out. Go to Xfinity.com/start saving. Call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Savings based on optimized pricing. Actual savings may vary.
Minute Maid slushies are back at McDonald's. And if you'd like to thank me for that information, I'll gladly take a slushie. It's more than a drink. It's a McDonald's drink.
Right now, treat yourself to a small Minute Maid slushie, like the new strawberry watermelon flavor for $1.59. Or try small McCafe frappes and smoothies for just $2. Price and participation may vary. Limited time only. Minute Maid is a trademark of the Coca-Cola Company.
Hello and welcome to jasonnewland.com. My name's Jason Newland and this is Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Sleep. Go to sleep. Now. Wah, wah, wah. Please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. Hope you're well. Yeah. This is my fourth recording of the day. Is it? Yeah, blimey, it is. I did a Deep Sleep Whisper recording, a new one. I did a Boring Object recording. That's my new podcast. Although I haven't actually built a new podcast yet, but I've got 2 episodes. Once I've got like maybe 6, then I'll actually create a podcast for it, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. But I'm sharing it with the other excuse me. I'm sharing it with the other podcasts, so it is being listened to, and I mean, I had I'm stuttering again. Blimey, I had that was a genuine stutter as well. The good thing about it, the good thing about this, listening to me over the years, you can hear me deteriorate. You can also almost like you can listen to my brain deteriorate over time. It's brilliant. Great. What wonderful stuff. Message from Ben. Hi Ben. No, that wasn't the message. I was saying hi to Ben. The message was, hi Jason. Loving the boring objects. Smashing it with content this week. Thank you. So thanks Ben. Molly says, I need to say your surname there, sorry. Molly says, gives me love hearts. She's this is going on about her favourite tune at the moment. It's now her favourite song. She's even made it her ringtone. I played it a couple of days ago. I won't play it again. But it's... Or shall I? You ready? My love, a unicorn. Okay, right, that's enough of that. Oh. So that Molly has now got that as a ringtone. Now, I'm kind of thinking, I don't know how even to do that. How do you make a ringtone from a song? I don't know. Now I know people used to do it back in the old days, but there was a time when ringtones were like big business. I mean, I don't know if you remember. This is probably, blimey, probably 20 years ago, if not, maybe less. But early 2000s, I reckon. And all we had really was like the Nokia theme tune, wasn't it? Do 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 do, or whatever it was. Do 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 do. What was it? Do 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 do, something like that. And of course, there's the iTunes standard thing, which is do 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 do. I don't know, can't remember, but it was really big. Because no one really wanted that the standard tune anymore, and people were downloading not just music, but also there's stuff that was being made specifically for people to download. It was big business for a while. And I think one of the most popular ones was, do you remember, again, we're talking, probably about 2003, maybe 2004, maybe 2005, I don't know. But it was quite early in the 2000s. There was that frog on a bike going, and it was, I think that was the most popular ring tune. In fact, I think it was actually a ringtone that they turned into an actual song that then went into charts. I'm making some of that up because I'm not sure if it's true, but I have the creative license to make everything up, because nothing really matters. Nothing matters at all. So yeah. That was my impression. I can't remember. I know it was funny the first time I heard it. And then after hearing it probably a little bit too many times, I never wanted to hear it again. No. A bit like Rick Astley. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. See, I was a fan of Rick Astley, but I didn't like that song. I didn't dislike it, I just wasn't a fan of... I don't know what it was, because at that time I was, 18, 17, yeah, probably 17 at the time when Rick Astley kind of appeared. Maybe I was 18, but I think I was either 17 or 18. And he was the biggest star in the country. Everything he did went to number one. And I didn't dislike him as a person. I mean, I think he's probably an amazing person, lovely. And I like ginger people, so, before I even met, even if I had not met, I haven't met him, but even if I hadn't, I haven't met him. But how do I word that? Even before I meet him, I like him because he's ginger. This is one of those weird things that I have going on inside my pea brain. And I didn't really particularly, wasn't crazy about his music, although I think some of his other songs were better than the first one. But, because what was it? Hold me in your arms, or never let me, just hold me in your arms, I'll only go to. Now that was a good song. And what I didn't realise, because a lot of those kind of singers at the time, all part of the Stockake and Waterman tribe, very similar kind of music, very similar type of songs, very catchy, brilliant. I mean, whoever wrote and produced all that stuff, they were geniuses, really, because they had the gold, the fairy dust to make something catchy. And I've listened, and I'm getting old. Obviously, I want to sound really old now, but I listened to some songs that isn't the sort of type of music I like. There's a radio station called XFM, and I like the presenters, but I don't particularly like the music, which is the complete opposite reason to why I would normally listen to music, listen to a radio show. So I'd listen to like Heart FM 80s, or I'd listen to, I don't know, what's the other one I listen to? I listen to LBC, but that's talk radio. And that's partly due to the presenters and also, what kind of show they have. I probably, in some ways, listen to more radio. I do listen to more radio than I watch television. Television's lost its way with me, or I've lost my way with television. But I guess that kind of makes sense to me in a way of me being an auditory person. I'm very much more interested in listening to something than to watch it, unless it's visually stimulating to me. That was vague, wasn't it? Vaguely, specifically vague. And so there's a show that I like. You might want to check it out. It's at 6:30 in the morning, UK time. You can probably listen to the show afterwards. I don't know, but a lot of these shows you can listen to them, online, like the whole show anytime you want, after it's been broadcast. So it's Chris Moyles. And again, I never listened to Chris Moyles' radio show. And Chris Moyles, if you don't know who he is, I won't go through the whole. If you're not in England and you don't you might be in America and you might be very well aware of who Chris Moyles is, because now with the internet and stuff, you can listen to anything from anywhere. If you wanted to listen to if I wanted to listen to a Punjabi radio station, I could do that all day long if I wanted. I don't have to be in Punjab to do that. So it's, you can listen to anything anywhere. I can watch the news. It's amazing. On YouTube, I think I can watch Fox News in New York. Just watch it live. Just like, what? Really? What was my point? Rick Astley, and then I was talking about, Chris Moyles. So Chris Moyles used to be he used to be really famous. And I think he probably did TV shows and stuff as well. But he was really famous. It's not that he's not famous now, because he's still, he's still doing his thing. But he used to be on big radio shows. Big radio, I think. Did he do Radio 1 or was it Capital Radio? But it was like big. Either he was on BBC Radio. I don't think he was BBC One, but Radio 1 he might have been. Might have been Radio 4. I don't know. Possibly more likely a commercial station. I could just check this. I don't care that much about it. So, but I think he possibly was like Capital Radio or something like that, which is a big commercial station, and he was a big gunner. He was pretty much, it was between him and Chris Tarrant, I guess, as far as commercial radio went, in my memory. And this is years ago. This is like 20 years ago. He was huge star. See, now he's on Radio X FM. Now, I don't know how big that radio show is, or how big the radio station is. I really don't know. But they play like Kings of Leon, Foo Fighters, and it's very, I don't know what kind of music that's called, but I can only really dip my toe into that type of music. I'm not so my kind of music. I guess really, if you go back, you're looking at like Britpop. They would have been, if it was 20 years ago, they'd have been playing, I guess, Oasis and stuff like that, I suppose. I don't know. But so I'm not really into the kind of music, because some of the songs, I listen to them and I realise I'm really sounding old when I say this, and I'm not happy about it. I'm not sounding old, but I'm not. I don't like this side of me. It doesn't appeal to me, because it goes against one of my principles in life. But I listen to it and I think, oh, what? There's no chorus. It's not catchy. And I realised the other day what it is you need to listen to the lyrics in order for the song to mean something. And I don't need meaningful lyrics. I realised that for me, the lyrics were secondary. For me, it was from a musical point, it was the vocals, the vocal talents, the catchy music, or and lyrics was pretty much. I mean, you got to remember, yeah, I was born in the 70s. I was born 1970. I grew up at a time when the lyrics meant very little. Agadoo do 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 do. Was it Queen? Mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia, let me go. Beelzebub. I mean, think, even though the Beatles split up before I was born, but then I still was hearing their songs. Picture yourself in a boat on a river with tangerine dreams and marshmallow clouds. Okay. It's a lot of the lyrics of the songs from the 70s, maybe a lot. I mean, there was plenty of really serious. I mean, look at Bob Dylan, and there was some amazing poets, songwriters and stuff. But there was a lot of real nonsense out there, which was very popular, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. But even just like popular, like rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby, rock the boat, don't hit the boat, baby. I like that song. I had no idea what it was about. I don't know what songs were about. I haven't listened to the lyrics. I've never bothered to listen really, unless I listen to a song over and over again, which I don't really do anymore, but I used to. So like, she's out of my life, she's out of my life. I don't know whether to love or cry. I don't know whether to live or die. And it cuts like a knife. She's out of my life. Well, don't weigh him out. I'm sure you can babysit him again next weekend. I mean, I kind of get to know the lyrics in those situations, but generally, I don't take much notice. And I think what happens is I get a sense of the emotions of a song from the lyrics, from the singing as opposed to the lyrics. So, for example, was it White Ladder? And the bloke who had that album, did it open, baby, put your heart in my hands, hold on for me, baby, now, oh. I mean, it was just a really quite a low energy album, and I liked it. Who are you talking about? What album? What, you couldn't get it from that singing, that little bit of singing that I just did? Clip that I just did. No, you didn't get it. It's I think White Ladder. I think it was not Craig David. It's Craig David's another one I used to like. You know, he's. But anyway, so I was talking about, who was it? So I was Rick Astley, and then someone else, and I've forgotten who and why. But yeah, I don't want to be that person that thinks that nothing good has happened, no music since 1985 or 9, you know. But I'm worried that I'm going to end up like that. Now, I wouldn't be as ridiculous as some people like say, well, there's no decent music since 1979. I won't be that ridiculous, because I have liked music up to, I've lost track of when. I think the last time I was really up to date with music, with the you know, the popular music, with pop, would have been pretty much before I moved in here, so 6 years ago, just over 6 years ago. I was watching a lot of music television, not MTV, because of course they don't have, why do they call it MTV anymore? But there was another one, I think it was the Box or something, and 4 Music, and there was another one that I don't think's on anymore. So I used to watch a lot of music videos. So I got really up to date, and I loved it. You know, there's even songs that I didn't like, I got to like, because I guess it's just repetition, isn't it? But since then, maybe I need to start watching more videos, more music videos. I don't know where to watch that now, apart from 4 Music, MTV. See, if MTV was like how it used to be, I'd probably have that on. Not right now. Well, actually, I probably would have it on mute, so I could watch the videos while I talk. I could watch Thriller, because that's my brain. When I think about MTV, that was kind of the days. And I never had MTV. I never had access to MTV. That was an American thing. And you needed a satellite dish to get hold of stuff like that in England. In like the 80s, the early 80s. It wasn't available on telly. But then, I think Channel 4, which is quite a new channel at the time, I remember they showed the Thriller video, like the full-length Thriller video, at like 11 o'clock at night or something on Channel 4. But it was a real big build-up, like we're going to show the full Thriller video, because up till then, I think people had seen like clips. But this was, you know, maybe this is going to be the whole thing. Because this is Thriller. You know, the whole thing where they're walking along, and they're in the house and all that stuff, you know. Admittedly, that description probably wouldn't want you to go and see it in the movies. But it wasn't a movie though, was it? Thriller. But this is thriller, thriller. See, the words to that, it's just gibberish to me. Gibberish? Gibberish. It's just a bunch of words. And I think that's what happens with a lot of songs. The words mean nothing to me. But the singing and the music and all that stuff. Like the Cranberries. Do 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 do. See, that was a nice introduction. The Cranberries, No Need to Argue, is my favourite album of theirs. One of my favourite albums ever, in fact. And I guess because I've listened to that album probably more than most albums I've ever listened to. So probably thousands of times over the years. I used to listen to it every single day for a good couple of years. Probably more than once, in fact. So in the evening, I used to drink. I did. And I'd be sitting on the floor listening to the album, thinking, well, I got to go to bed because I got a gap in the morning at 7 or whatever. And this was maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. And I just wanted to listen. And I was in some kind of, it was almost, I wasn't, I say I wasn't drunk, but I probably was. I just didn't, I got so used to it. It didn't feel like being drunk anymore. And I was just, used to listen to that album. There was a few albums I used to listen to that really meant something to me. It used to get me all emotional, or in an emotional kind of place. One was that album. Another one would be like Bob Dylan, a couple of Bob Dylan albums. What other ones? White Ladder by Dan, whatever his name is, Bobby. And I don't know at the time, but an album that gets me still even now is Whitney Houston's first album. I think it was just called Whitney Houston, but then the second album was called Whitney, pretty sure. And Whitney Houston, she's there, she's very young. I think it looks like she's got like a bit of African gear on, like wearing like African clothes and stuff. And it's very, well, she is young, but she's, I'm pretty sure she's still a teenager at that point, like late teens. And I just love that album. Like every single second of that album I love. Now the second album, Whitney, I love that album as well. But I think I want to dance with somebody, I want to be, that's one song I wasn't really a big fan of. That's probably because I enjoyed her slow songs. I enjoyed her, yeah, I guess it was the slower, because the first album was very slow. It wasn't like completely slow, but there was, yeah, 'cause there was a couple of duets on there, wasn't there, with men my age singing with her. But the second album was really good as well. I love the second album. And then the first one, though, is the one that I still listen to now. Still absolutely love Whitney. And I watched on YouTube the other day. She was singing I Will Always Love You. And I think it was about 1998. So she was live on stage. And she sung it different to the way she did in the video. But it was still, Because it almost, you think, oh, she's singing it like that because she can't reach the high notes. And then she goes and does the high note. So she could reach the high note. She was just singing it different. Like a lot of performers, they don't do it exactly the same as they do on the album. Because I guess in reality, when the song is recorded, I'm not an expert on this, but I'm just from little bits I've seen of recording studios, and I mean, clearly you can tell from this recording I'm no recording expert, but they might do like 30 takes of a song and then cut it up and just take the best bits of each one. So the actual end result, and then get her to sing the odd line differently, like just to try and improve it. So the end result is much better than she's ever going to be able to do in reality, just on one go, in a sense of kind of perfection, as it were. Now, I used to want to hear exactly the same live as I got on the album, and then I realised that that's probably not going to happen. And secondly, well, I never see anyone live anyway, so it don't matter. I don't mean I just kept seeing dead people. I mean, I've never been to a live concert, like a proper live concert. But I've seen plenty of people performing on television, and I've seen loads of live concerts and stuff online, as well as, you know, concerts on television and stuff, and video and blah de blah. And Whitney was just amazing. You know, I'd say probably, was it 1985, 92? When you think about it though, because I think, didn't she arrive about 85, didn't she? So she turned from this young, not a young girl, but you know, a young woman to very mature when she did the I Will Always Love You. But that was like 1992 or the end of 91, wasn't it? I Will Always Love You. So it's only a few years. It was only like 7 years later. So she was still have only been maybe 25, 26 when she did that. So I guess that was her vocal peak, those years, where she could pretty much do anything vocally. And because she did, you know, with her lifestyle, and I ain't judging her at all, because I love Whitney, and I will always, Whitney, I'll always love you. And I'm a big fan of Whitney. Phoned her up once. She didn't answer though. I think it might be the wrong number. But she was, I just think she was perfect. Like, just, and it sounds weird, because she's not even the type of woman that I would go for, body wise. She wouldn't, but I think she was so beautiful, you know. Just, and her voice wasn't because she was rich, because I'm not that superficial. just obviously I'm superficial, but it wasn't that really. Although that must be quite annoying, not being with someone that's rich. But wherever you went with her, see, when I dated her for a little while, and wherever we went, always photographers and people wanting autographs, and it used to really annoy her. You know, she was like, well, what about me? I'm Whitney Houston. Why do you want his autograph for? He used to get so upset. We used to argue. And I kept saying to her, I'll always love you. And she said, that's a really good title for a song. I said, well, if you ever make a song called that, remember to share the split the profits with me. We laughed. I was really, really enamored with her. Me and probably millions of other men and women around the world. Something special about her. And you know what? I think my favourite song, because I got the album, I got it a bootleg copy. It was a tape, probably cost me £1 or something, from someone I worked with, and it was the Bodyguard album, of course, because that's what. I mean, there was a huge publicity for the film, wasn't it? Really, I don't know what helped which each more. God, that was a sentence, wasn't it? What helped which each more? Was it the album that helped the movie, or was it the movie that helped sell the album? I guess it was. Both. I imagine. I mean, Kevin Costner was. When was this? 90s. Kevin Costner was the man, wasn't he? At the time, he was probably the biggest box office male, one of the biggest box office males, because he did Dancing with Wolves, didn't he? Dances with Wolves. I don't know what year that was, but then he did Robin Hood. Was it him that did Robin Hood? It was, wasn't it? So that song, everything I do it for you. Again, another song that was number one for 15 years, just like I Will Always Love You. So I guess that connection between Kevin Costner and massive songs, because he was in the video, wasn't he? He was in the video. Now, I didn't watch the Bodyguard because he was in it. You might think, well, that's a bit weird. What you got against him? Well, I didn't want to see her kiss another man. I just okay, it's just the way it is. That's how I felt. Sorry, judge me if you like. Can't stop you judging me. I can't, but I didn't want to see my Whitney. Didn't want to witness my Whitney kissing Costner. Bloody Costner. Got everywhere he did it. Just like every time you turn the corner, there he is again. Costner just standing there, kissing Whitney. Like, stop it. So another thing I saw on YouTube, and I was surprised at this, and it blew my socks off. Beyonce was on stage. The only reason, basically what it was is they were talking about, what was it? Some charity event that was going to be held, and it's basically world some kind of world thing. That's not very clear, is it? I forget the name of it. So I went to YouTube and I thought, wow, this is a concert that was on. I never saw it. So I YouTubed it to see what was on my TV, and I think Rihanna was on there. So I was like sitting there dribbling for a little bit, because I love Rihanna. And then after Rihanna, the next person, I think it was just a video of her. It didn't show the whole thing. And then it was Beyonce and her husband, Jay-Z. And I thought, oh. See, I like Beyonce's songs. And some of them I've really liked over the years, but I'm just ain't that bothered. And I heard her sing live. She is phenomenal. She is absolutely phenomenal. Even my bum salutes her. She is, and the way she was singing is the vocals is better than you hear on a song that she sings. And that is like, wow. She is. It's like there's no one really who can compete with her vocally. She's phenomenal, absolutely amazing, and I've kind of become a new fan of hers. But I don't want to listen to her songs. I want to see her dance in slow motion. No, I don't want to listen to her albums. I want to listen to her sing live, because of her vocal ability is so. Her singing style, it's very. You can hear it kind of comes from church, like, I guess, growing up in church, singing gospel. She's that caliber. She's like Aretha Franklin caliber of, like, every breath is a tune almost, like Aretha Franklin could literally belch. She could have a big gulp of Coke, jump up and down and belch, and it would sound beautiful. It'd come out as a like a melody, That's the kind of. Does that make sense? It's just amazing singing style. I think Stevie Wonder's an example of that. Like, anything he sings, he can turn into. It just make it sound great. I mean, he's the kind of person that you'd want to give you bad news, because you know that it would sound lovely. You've only got 2 months to live. Kind of like, wow, Stevie, thanks. Thanks for the news. And obviously it's not so great, but wow, the way you presented it was like, yummy. Now, Jay-Z, her husband. Now, I started using my imagination, and it made it really funny. Okay. Now, as we all know, Jay-Z is a huge, huge star in his own right. He ain't no Mr. Beyonce, and she's not Mrs. Jay-Z, you know what I mean? They're both huge stars in their own right that happen to marry and have kids and stuff. And I don't know why I'm saying that, is because, out of respect to them. Out of respect. But, the point is, he is one of the biggest, I guess, stars in the world. Or what, over time, he's just huge, isn't he? Now, he came on the stage with Beyonce. Beyonce came on looking just wow. Like, almost like a princess, just like, whoa. And all eyes were on her. He comes on, I think he had a tracksuit on, a yellow tracksuit or something. And, I mean, a tracksuit probably costs more than I'll ever earn in my life, but that's besides the point. It's still a tracksuit. And it looked like this superstar, Beyonce, had come on and decided to bring her husband on with her. Because it's a charity gig. So it's like, I'll bring my husband with me. Well, I'll get a free flight and a free hotel room, Yeah, right. Can I bring me hubby? He's at home with the kids. Can I bring them? Yeah. Oh, brilliant. So it was almost like, I imagined, like, we didn't know who he was. He wasn't this huge star. He was just her husband, who looks after the kids when she's on tour and stuff like that. Yeah, not the huge star that he is. And then I imagined that the type of music that Jay-Z does, has never been heard. Okay, so I don't know, what is it, rap, kind of that kind of music that he's done. It's just, it just doesn't exist. So no one's ever heard of it before. But everyone knows who Beyonce is. So I was imagining this in my head. And I replayed what happened. I rewound it and I replayed it. So basically, Beyonce comes on with him. He's got his yellow fluorescent tracksuit on. And he's smiling. And he's like, oh, he's so happy to be out of the house. He's just really pleased, and like all these people, and it must be really exciting for him. To, not be looking after the kids, and I guess to see what his wife does, because he probably only sees her on television, apart from when they're at home together. To actually, be there, because he can't go on tour with her, but because this is a charity gig, he can go along, he got a free hotel, and he's probably enjoying, he's like calling to her, Beyonce. Yes, JZ. Is it okay? Are we allowed to drink from the bar, from the fridge in the hotel room? Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. Oh, thanks, Beyonce. That's like, why do you keep calling me Beyonce? Well, that's your name, isn't it? Yeah, but it's only me and you here. Who else would you be talking to? Oh, I don't know. You don't have to say my name when you talk to me. It's just me and you here. There's no one else. It's not a room full of people. I mean, if you talk out loud, I'm going to answer. I mean, unless you're talking to the television or the wallpaper. No, I wasn't. Are you talking to the sofa? No, I'm not talking to the sofa. What about the light bulb? Okay, can we just stop now? Okay then. I need to go and shave me bum. I'll be back soon. Why don't you do it in the bathroom? Why are you going into the hallway? Oh, I like the photographers to watch. Okay. Cool. So I just imagine that he's like really excited to be there, and he goes out on the stage with her. They're holding hands, I think. And then she lets go because they move apart a little bit, and she starts singing. And it's kind of, I don't think I've heard the song before, but it's like a love song, sort of like she's singing to him, which is really nice. Like, wow. She goes out and she's singing to her husband. No one's ever seen him before. No one even knew really he existed. We heard about him. She's got kids, and occasionally she got fat, and then she got slim again. Like, did she have a baby? We don't really know. But then, it seems that maybe she did. Maybe she is married. Maybe all that stuff really did happen. It wasn't just gas. So, and he's there, and he's looking at her, and she's singing to him with the most amazing vocals. Like, just phenomenal. And then she stops singing, and the light goes on him, and he starts jumping up and down and like rapping. And because in my head I'm thinking, well, he's an unknown person, she's just brought him out, and he's decided to start jumping up and down, and grabbed a microphone and started just doing this weird thing, rapping thing, which really didn't seem to make any sense at all after hearing her sing like an angel and him going, yeah, 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 I love you, bitch, yeah, yeah. Oh, show that butt, those cheeks, yeah, yeah, got the money, oh, money, bitch, oh, I gotta shoot people, gold, cars, money, something like that, I don't know, and I just couldn't stop laughing, because, well, I laughed when I first saw it, because I thought, this is just, it's just so different from what she was doing. So different. So I guess it would be like having a clown doing juggling at a funeral, you know, while the funeral was going on. It's just like, it's kind of out of place slightly. I mean, which would you watch? I'm not saying that he's a clown. I mean, I think he's brilliant. And, well, yeah, he is. He's great at what he does, and he's a great producer and stuff of other acts. But I was just imagining this scenario where he was like, you know, like how I'm not gonna go through it again. I'm gonna say how I just explained it, like you know, and he decided he started getting carried away and jumping up and down and like talking into a microphone in this weird kind of a way that no one's ever heard before. But of course, people have heard it before because it was a song and it was him spitting his rhymes or whatever. See, Drunk in Love was the song they both did together. They both did it together. That was one of my favourite songs at the time. Heard it the first time, thought it was absolutely ridiculously bad. Seriously, because they released an album together without any notice. Like, this is a few years back. Just, there you go. There's a new album. Like, what? And I think they released loads of songs. I think it was like an online thing. So that's when streaming started to become popular. And I had loads of like hits from the album or whatever. So I just remember that song, I don't like it. And then I really liked it. Like, the atmosphere of it was just really... And again, it was him. It was not him, it was her. Drunken love. It was like, it was great. And I think she was pregnant at the time, but to the point where only parts of her had started to grow. So I think she took advantage of that to make the video, and it was. I like that song. I liked it a lot. It made my feet happy. So yeah. So Rick Astley, he did a song. He was on the Jonathan Ross show, which I think at the time was called The Last Resort. And it was Jonathan Ross back in the late 80s, probably about 87, 88 time. And yeah, because I was still working in a chip shop, bless me. And I was looking forward to seeing him because I'd seen a clip of him singing live and he was really good. Yeah, and he sung this song. I think he sung a Christmas. Didn't he sing, "When I fall in love, it will be forever"? That one. I'm pretty sure, no, again, this might be wrong, that he released that at Christmas. I say that like, obviously it's not a Christmas song, is it? But he released it at Christmas. But I'm pretty sure Natalie Cole released exactly the same song as a duet with her dad, who wasn't around anymore. So the original singer of the song and Natalie Cole. And I think that one possibly did better, I don't know. But I really enjoyed Rick Astley live. And I think I missed, the last resort was on Friday night, about 11, maybe 10:30, 11, something like that, in about 1987, perhaps. Yeah, 1987. Let's say November, December time. I'm pretty sure, if I remember rightly, I got home, either I missed it or I got home in time and I fell asleep. Or I recorded it and it didn't record it properly. Yeah, that might have happened, might have happened. I remember once I recorded something. I think it was Top of the Pops or maybe EastEnders, because I had a video recorder. I always found that's the best way to record stuff back then. Wishing it was so didn't do the trick. Had to actually have something to physically record it. And it was BBC One, and I didn't get to watch much TV early evening, or basically most of the evening at that time, because I was working most nights. Most evenings I would be working, apart from Sunday, maybe one evening during the week, maybe. So I would tape this, but it taped a little bit of the end of the previous program, which was Married with Children. Now, I don't remember ever seeing Married with Children on television, on like normal television. I've seen it. Where did I see it then? I think it was on Sky at one point, and I used to watch it on Sky late 90s sometimes. Yeah, because it used to be on there. And I've also seen it I think I've downloaded it from the internet and stuff. But there was this clip, and this is the end of the show, and this happened twice. And two of the funniest things I ever, at the time, it's got me laughing. I didn't expect it. He was in a dentist's chair, and he's having his mouth examined by a female dentist. But it was I'm not going to go into what happened. I can't remember really, but it was very funny. I laughed I laughed a lot, because I love laughing. And another time, the same thing happened, but it was Terry Wogan, the Wogan Show. It was an interview show. Terry Wogan was a big star over here, and he used to interview famous people. At one point, he was on every night of the week, Monday to Friday, at 7 or 7:30, something like that. Usually he'd be on, and then EastEnders would be on those days that EastEnders was on. I think Tuesday and Thursday back then. Then they started showing it Friday. Then they started showing it Monday. I think they just sort of stuck it to Tuesday and Thursday. Don't need it. Twice a week's enough. Twice a week is enough. Was it just twice a week? Because I used to have the omnibus Tuesday and Thursday, which meant the omnibus would have only lasted an hour. I'm sure the omnibus lasted for longer than that. How strange. the mixed memory that is my brain. So there was once I recorded something, and again I recorded the first, because I always used to put it like maybe 20 minutes before and then 20 minutes after the program to make sure that I recorded it, just in case it was, it was late running or something. So Terry Wogan was interviewing, is it not Dennis Nilsson? He played the, what's his name? He was in Airplane, and then he did Naked Gun, detective in Naked Gun, and he was so funny. Dennis Nilsson was so funny. He had this, no one realised he had this little fart machine that he used to press, and I've seen him doing other interviews since online on YouTube. I didn't know at the time, because I guess he was just going to different TV shows and doing it around the world, but no one knew he was doing it, had done it before, and it really sounded like he was farting, and I was just laughing. And because he was just very very straight, if he played it straight, which is part of the reason why he was so funny, because he could do comedy roles really, really well by just playing it straight like a normal actor. And Terry Wogan was laughing, and the audience were creasing up laughing, and I was laughing, and because I love to laugh. And just remember that. But then since then, I've seen him on American shows. I've seen him, I think, even on other British shows doing the same thing. But at the time, I'd never seen it, so it's so funny. It's a little bit when you see a comedian for the first time on stage, and he like blow you away. You think, like, it's almost like he or she's just thinking off the top of their head, and they're coming out with this stuff. It's like, wow. And then you see them again. Most people wouldn't, but being involved in that industry that I was at the time, I might see them again, maybe a few nights later at a different comedy club, or maybe they'd be back at the same comedy club in 3 months, different audience, but I might be there. And some of them would be word for word the same act. Or I might see them on a Friday night and then a Saturday night at the same place, different audience both nights, and the same act. And then some people would come on and do completely different stuff. But it's amazing. You hear it, even if it is the same thing every time, when you hear it the first time, it's like, wow. I'll tell you a weird thing that happened. Honestly, it's something that hard to even believe. There's this comedian called Earl Oaken, and he's almost like what was his name? Not Orville. The one that used to wear thick glasses. He had Roy Orbison. He looked a bit like him. He played a guitar. I think he sort of dressed a bit like Roy Orbison, and he had that kind of. It was a different style of music, but he was a comedian doing like music and stuff. Now he went on stage on a Friday night. People were chucking stuff at him, which is not how we rolled back then. Like, this is ridiculous. You don't chuck stuff at the acts. But some people, they weren't like chucking knives or anything, or axes. It was just some people chuck like napkins and cutler babies. It was just general. But it's like, this is not on. And he got off the stage. He stayed on there for probably, he was supposed to do, I think, 20 minutes. He probably did maybe 10, and then he got off. Because the audience, it went from hostility to just talking. Everyone was just talking amongst themselves. And it was like really hostile. And I thought to myself, this is just an awful, awful comedian. Why is he headlining a comedy club? I'd heard of him before, and I thought I'd never seen him. This is the first time I'd seen him, and I thought this is really, really bad. This is just like, oh, I know that I wasn't particularly successful, but this was like, oh, this is really bad. The Saturday night he went on, and you couldn't see a better gig. It was exactly the same. He was doing the same material, doing the same act, but the audience loved him. I mean, loved him. And it was one of the best performances, the funniest performances I've seen. I say the same act. I mean, it wasn't just like word for word, but the songs were the same, and you know, not going to change your lyrics to the songs for each performance. But his, still sort of same persona, the same kind of thing, and he absolutely stormed. It's like nobody in the world ever could do a better performance than he did. There's a level which you can't outdo. If the audience is eating out your hand, absolutely loving you, laughing at everything, that's the height you can get. You can't get higher than that. The only way you can get higher, if it's a bigger audience. If Richard Pryor, at the height of his, or Eddie Murphy, or Steve Martin, or let's go to Jack D, or Lee Evans, or any of the George Carlin, Joe Brand, any of the big comedians like either side of the Atlantic, none of them could have, Eddie Izzard, so many different ones, none of them could have done better than Earl Oaken did on that night. No one could have got a better response. There's a limit to what it was like. It was perfect. It was almost the most perfect performance I've ever seen. Yet the night before, Friday night, it was almost the most worstest performance I've ever seen. Yet it wasn't, because I was clouded by the audience's reaction. Absolutely, I think there's a very bit of a psychological message there, I suppose, to myself. But it was absolutely. I've seen it a couple of times. I've seen it, probably more than a couple of times over the years, but not that extreme. I've seen people struggle one night and then do really great the next night. I've seen people do really brilliant Friday night and the Saturday not gone so well. But I've never seen such a difference in audience reaction to exactly the same person in exactly the same venue 24 hours later. Absolutely, just what on earth. And in some ways the Friday audience was a bit more forgiving than Saturday night, because Saturday night would be hen night. Not every night, but Saturday nights Friday nights would be maybe people coming from work, Saturday, and maybe having to go to work the next day on a Saturday. Sunday's the next day. The majority of people, not everyone obviously, but a lot of people wouldn't be working on a Sunday, so they could get really drunk on a Saturday night, maybe been drinking all day. So you'd think Saturday night would be a much more rowdier night, as often it was. But on this occasion, anyway, I like Rick Astley. That's all I wanted to say, really. So that's it. So I'm going to go. Thanks for listening. Take care, and remember to be kind to yourself. Do something, and I say this every time, but do something nice for yourself. Go out and buy yourself a book. Treat yourself to a takeaway, or maybe a swim. Whatever, something that you enjoy doing that gives you pleasure, not that gives other people pleasure, but gives you pleasure. Just something that gives you something where you feel really good. Anyway, take care, and I shall speak to you tomorrow. Lots of love. Bye.